Yo. Welcome into the ChrisBeCappinn show, man. Today is January the 7th, and there are tons of NBA action on the board for today. So we're going to jump right into it. Always do a quick recap of yesterday. Another sweep yesterday. We swept the board yesterday, 2-0 on the official plays that I sent out to the members yesterday. We had Aaron Nesmith over his 2.5 threes. I gave you guys that on the show yesterday morning. And he cashed in the third quarter. So nice little sweat-free bet there. He did get up 7 attempts. I was thinking he would get at least 6 or more. And yeah, he was able to knock down 3. 2 in the second quarter, 1 in the third. We'll take it. And then the other one was the Washington Wizards. I told you guys by default yesterday that I couldn't play the Magic on the road, laying a bunch of points. They just haven't been covering in that number, similar to the Dallas Mavericks. And that was the case last night as well. So 2-0 day yesterday. The Aiden double-double just kind of got busy. I did play it. I didn't send it out to the members, so it's not official. But Aiden cast a double-double pretty easily as well. That was plus 150 something, whatever it is that you got. And then rebounds. So the whole short list was good yesterday. And I didn't watch the Kings and Mavs game, but that one played out like we talked about yesterday as well. If you were somebody who listened to the recap, we talked about, I just kind of briefly went through that game, but thought the total was too high, 230 or 232, whatever it was. And he finished with 198 points last night. So the board seems to be clear right now. We shall see, though. We shall see. Hopefully you guys were able to find some ways to make some money as well. Tons of game on the board for today. I did want to just preface by saying I'm not completely done. Like, I think every team plays, and I hate slates like this. It just makes me, I don't know, it kind of gives me like the ick. Like it's too many games. It's too much to handicap, too many different ways to look, too much to read for somebody like myself that takes a lot of time. It goes through the card very, very thoroughly. I don't have anything official yet, but I'm looking to get to the window with a couple plays, and I'll give you guys some stuff that I wrote in my notes yesterday. Let's go through the comments real quick. I did just want to preface by saying that, though. Prolific says, good morning, Chris. We're 1-1 yesterday. Dog walked the Wizards, but they were the Wizards yesterday. I'll take it. That's a fact. That is a fact, man. Appreciate you, Real Talk. What's up, Mid-Range Bully? Tommy says, what's up, DJ? Let's get paid. Wizards was a smash spot. Grizzlies finally pulled one out. That's a fact. 4-2. Absolutely. Take that every single day and move forward. Absolutely. What's up, Prince? Appreciate you for tapping in. Joined as a member as well. Appreciate that, Prince. Appreciate that, man, for believing in me. All right, let's see if we can find some ways to make some money. Good morning, Taylor. He says, Chris in the community, he says, all I got to say is Rudy Gobert is a grown man and respects the coin. Huge slate today. Let's get paid. Absolutely. Good morning, Algina. Appreciate you for tapping in as always. He says, let's continue the momentum. All right, so let's get into it. So we start off with JaXon. JaXon had a 1-1 split yesterday. There's a link in the description if you guys are interested in checking out JaXon. JaXon is the AI sports betting tool. Save you tons of time of research. Most of you guys probably know the spiel already. JaXon yesterday, Cleveland minus the 5.5 was a loser. I couldn't get there with Cleveland minus 5.5 either. They did win the game, but it was not by 6. And then Miami, Minnesota, this was one that I should have added. And I talked about liking the under 237.5. Miami offense never really shows up. Minnesota scores the ball pretty well. They're shooting the ball, 3-point shot really, really well recently. So that does stay under the 237.5. So as far as today, I'm gonna try to get through these pretty quickly since it's a big slate. Ask JaXon the same prompt. I need the best. Well, I want the best. What is today's best NBA spread and total bet based on specifically on Clean the Glass data, provide detailed analysis. So JaXon likes the New York Knickerbockers minus the 4.5. It says that the Knicks are 23-13. They host the Clippers, who are 13-23, 13-22 at Madison Square Garden in a matchup where efficiency metrics highlight a massive gulf between these two squads. While the Clippers have struggled to find consistency, the Knicks have established themselves as one of the most efficient offenses in the league. So efficiency breakdown, the Knicks currently boast a 4th ranked offensive rating in the NBA at 120, driven by their elite shot making and offensive rebounding. They're particularly dangerous from the perimeter, ranking 4th in 3-point percentage and 1st in corner 3-point frequency. This creates a nightmare matchup for the Clippers defense that ranks 26th in defensive rating, 117.4, 26th in points per 100 possessions allowed at 119.5. It says the Knicks enter the game with a significant statistical advantage in the half court. The ability to be able to generate second chance opportunities, 7th in offensive rebound percentage, will be a major factor against the Clippers that rank 21st in defensive rebounding. News surrounding the Knicks highlight the seamless integration of Karl-Anthony Towns and Mikal Bridges, who have bolstered the perimeter attack that now ranks 2nd in corner three-point accuracy. Clippers, meanwhile, playing at the 29th slowest pace in the league, will while they attempt to grind out games, their 26th ranked defense simply hasn't been able to stop high-powered offenses. With the Knicks playing at home and possessing the eighth best expected win total in the league, they're well positioned to cover this relatively small spread against a Clippers team that has struggled to defend the rim, 26th in shot frequency allowed at the rim. And then the next one is on the Pelicans and the Atlanta Hawks under the 246.5. It says, well, both teams have reputations for high-scoring affairs. The current efficiency data and roster news suggests this total of 246.5 is set significantly too high, even for teams involving the fast pace, even for games involving the fast paced Atlanta Hawks. So efficiency breakdown, the Atlanta Hawks are 17-21, playing at the second fastest pace in the NBA, 103.28. But the offensive efficiency has taken a recent hit recently. They ranked 17th in offensive rating, 114.1, and struggle significantly on the glass, ranking 28th in offensive rebound percentage at 25.4. The Pelicans, 8-30, are even more challenged offensively, ranking 26th in offensive rating, but 28th in effective field goal percentage at 52.2. So the primary driver for the over is the lack of offensive firepower currently available for the Pelicans. The Pelicans are missing several key players, and their shot frequency is heavily concentrated at the rim, first in the league at 43.2%, where the Atlanta Hawks defense is most capable of funneling players into contested looks. New Orleans ranks 29th in three-point percentage at 34%, meaning they lack the perimeter shooting necessary to punish Atlanta's defensive lapses. I'm not about to keep reading. I feel like I'm reading a book, but there is a little bit more here as well. I'm not going to go into it. I do think that makes a ton of sense. I'm just kind of thinking about it as I read it. So JaXon likes the under in that game between the Atlanta Hawks and the New Orleans Pelicans. Nice little breakdown there. Let's get into the games. I'm going to try to get through them as quickly as possible. It's 4 that I circled, as always. And then if you guys have questions or want me to go through something, if I got a couple minutes left, then I'll try to do that for you guys as well. All right, let's get into the game. So first up, we got the Raptors and the Charlotte Hornets. And this is a very intriguing game. So Toronto will be without Jakob Poeltl, and I think everybody else is off the injury report. Charlotte on the other side will they have Diabate listed as probable for this game, and then Brandon Miller is probable, and Ryan Kalkbrenner, Plumlee are both out, and yeah, I think that's it. Salam is listed as questionable off the bench as well. So when I was looking at this game last night, first thing that jumped out to me is Toronto's actually been playing better, and they've been at home. They also lost to the Charlotte team when they were playing in Toronto early this season. They got absolutely smoked. I can't even remember what the score was, but I remember it was a beatdown. Double-digit in-season revenge for Toronto here. They were playing 5th and 7 in that spot. I remember that spot against Charlotte. And it's that first road game after after a 5-game homestand. And then on the other side, you got a Charlotte team playing first leg of back-to-back. It is 4th and 6 for them. First game home after a 3-game road trip. Charlotte has been playing really, really well recently. Big win in OKC the other day. They're finally starting to shoot the ball consistently from the three-point line, which is very, very interesting. Bridges, Conkanipple, Brandon Miller, those guys are knocking down shots. So, the more I thought about the game last night, the more I thought, and Charlotte's also playing a little bit of better defense. I think that's one of the reasons why they've covered the number. They're 8-2 against the spread in their last 10 games, 10-7 against the number at home. And if they're going to be healthy, man, I do think this is going to be a super competitive game. What else did I write in my notes? I think that was it. I didn't bet the game. I do like what Toronto's doing. They're 4-1 against the number in their last 5 games. It's a really difficult game for me. Defensively, they're playing better. Held Atlanta to 100 points and 117. Denver to 106. Orlando to 106 as well. I like, Colin Murray Bulls. We cashed on his rebound prop the other day. That was against a much softer rebound matchup in Atlanta. I don't really know what to do in this one, man. I kind of feel like Charlotte's live to win the game. I just like what Charlotte's doing right now. If they're healthy, with some rest, like I do like what they're doing. They held OKC to 97 points and Chicago to 99 points. So maybe the best play is the under. It is continuing to come down, open 234.5, down to 2. Looks like as low as 229.5. So maybe an under. I'm not really sure what to do with that one, but that was a game that I wanted to talk about. JaXon has not. I've seen his comments stick out about it. Nah, so the thing with JaXon is JaXon will look at the game from a total season perspective, which is why I think JaXon like Cleveland minus the 5.5 yesterday, even though even though Donovan Mitchell missed that game. So yeah, I don't know, but I gotta look for that game. We will talk about it in just a second. Let's see, what else are you guys saying here? What up, Ski? Fading the Magic on the road. Been an ATM. Tommy says, I want to talk about that, Tommy. We'll talk about that. Says I have to go Pelicans as well. You guys aren't talking about this game. Locke says Khan over his points, even though everyone gonna be on it. He's been going crazy, man. Khan Knipple has absolutely been going crazy. So real quick, I want to just, before we move over to the next game, because I don't want to stay on this game too long. I just want to share some efficiency data. So Toronto last 5 games are 5th in defensive rating, 4th in effective in efficiency differential, 17th in pace. Charlotte is 26th in pace. They're 3rd in offensive rating. 3-point shot just really falling for Charlotte right now. This team is playing some really good offense. And yeah, I don't know how I feel about it. Yesterday, I also wrote in my notes, I forgot to mention this. Isaiah quickly over his 3-point prop. I think he's over in all 3 games. Matter of fact, let's pull that up real quick. And I know I said I wasn't going to take a long time. I'm taking a super long time on this game, but this was one thing that I looked at yesterday. So last night I was looking at this. So Charlotte is they still one of the worst 3-point defenses in the NBA. They've been playing against teams that don't really. OKC's just had a poor night from the 3-point line on the second leg of a back-to-back, in my opinion. But if we look at quickly, he gets a pretty good matchup here against a Charlotte defense that gives up a ton of threes. So I think his 3-point prop was 2.5. It might have been plus money last night too, because I feel like he's typically listed at 1.5. But if we look at quickly's 3-point prop here, you can see that he's over in 5 of his last 10 games, in 3 of his last 5 games, 4 of his last 6 games. So he had none against Orlando. He had 2 against Atlanta here. And it's a pretty good matchup for him. If we look at the head-to-head matchup, both games all 3 games that he's played him this far, this is what I saw last night as well. 3, 3, and 4. And I always like to come down here and look at attempts as well. If he's going to shoot 8, 8, and 10 attempts, I'm going to bet quickly to make 3 threes. That's just something I'm going to have to ride or die with here. So this was something that I had on my short list here, looking at quickly over his 3-point prop against the Charlotte defense that does give up some threes. All right, so that's that game. I spent way too much time on it. I wasn't planning on spending that much time on that game, but yeah, quickly threes was on my short list. All right, let's keep moving. Took too long on that game. All right, next game is, let's see, did I get through all the comments? I think I did. Yeah, Con Air. Tyler says, I can't buy into the Hornets or even believe that on a neutral court, they're pick'em versus the Raptors. Charlotte coming off their championship game versus OKC. Give me the Raps minus 2.5. Okay. Tony says, I agree. Shouldn't we fade the Hornets after they came out whipping up OKC? Maybe. I think I don't know. The thing about Charlotte, and I didn't mention this because I didn't want to break the game too much, but since you guys mentioned it, since you guys talking about it, I'll mention it. Charlotte defense, for whatever reason, is not as good at home. They play better defense on the road. 17th ranked defensive efficiency on the road, 28th at home. So I guess that is a reason to like Toronto a little bit more here. Not really sure if I'm gonna get there on this game or not, but I don't know. I can kind of see it going both ways. In those type of instances, I typically stay off. I'll wish you guys the best of luck and probably stay off for this one. Yeah, I wish you guys the best of luck and stay off of this one. All right, next game up is the Wizards and the 76ers. Real briefly on this one. So we look at the injury report for the Wizards. They most likely, so Corey Kispert and Keyshawn George both missed yesterday. They probably will be without Chris Middleton. Not sure if they'll rest CJ McCollum on the second leg of a back-to-back. Pretty short travel, of course, from DC to Philly. And they're getting 12.5 points. It's another very intriguing line here. Don't like Philly laying a lot of points at home. They also have Joel Embiid listed as questionable, and Trendon Watford actually upgraded to questionable as well. I was going through just kind of looking at things last night, and I don't think it's really just simple all the time, but you got to watch a team that's playing 3rd and 4, 4th and 6, second leg of back-to-back, and a Philly team that probably is coming off the worst loss of any team throughout the entire regular season. They lost to Denver's legit B team. They didn't have a starter in that game. Second straight home game, coming off an overtime game, second game back home off the long road trip. This is a spot where I kind of look at the total, and I know a lot of people probably gonna think, just take the over. But we've been seeing totals that typically should go over, like the I don't know if it's tired leg theory or what it is, but some of these games are starting to fall under the number. We've been seeing a lot recently, especially with these high totals, 235 or higher. I kind of think this game goes under. I think Washington will be, first of all, you're gonna get a much better defensive effort, in my opinion, from Philly in this spot. Washington is not a great offensive team by any metric at all. And I think Philly will be locked in after losing that game the way that they did. The thing that scares me a little bit is Joel Embiid is questionable. They play so much faster without him being out there. Washington has been pretty good defensively. I'm not sure what I'm expecting from them on the 4th and 6th, though. So I wrote in my notes that the Wizards are 5-0 to the under when they're playing second leg of back-to-back games. It's interesting because you probably think that a pretty bad defensive team like the Wizards would give up a lot of points on the second leg of a back-to-back. But the books aren't they're not stupid. They aren't just going to give you a line where you can just take an over for the Wizards because they're playing on the second leg of a back-to-back. So all 5 teams that the Wizards have played on the second leg of back-to-back have all stayed under their team total. Wizards on the second leg of a back-to-back have not given up an over. Only 226 points on average are given up when the Wizards are playing unrested this season. Embiid played 40-plus minutes. Maxey played 40-plus minutes. VJ Edgecombe played 40-plus minutes in that last game against the Denver Nuggets the other day in overtime. So I think under 235.5 is the best number here. The total is going up, so there's no reason for me to bet it yet. Open 233.5. That's my thought process on this game, though. Let's see. Locke says he'll go Bud Carrington over his rebounds and assists. Been hitting. Oh, wait, he says just been hitting. 76 is smash spot. I'm not laying this many points with him, but best of luck if you bet him, Tommy. And beat over his points, rebounds, and assists has been cashing like crazy. Yeah, he has been going crazy. And the Wizards give it up a ton at the rim as well. Sarr is a pretty good defender. He's still got a little bit of ways to go, in my opinion. But he's not a bad defender at all. All right, that's that game. Next one up, we'll get to in just a second. Just a quick reminder, smash the like button if it's something that you typically do. Tons of information being shared. Appreciate you all for doing so. Subscribe to the channel if you guys are new. And let's keep going. So next game up, we got the Magic and the Nets. Game will be played in Brooklyn today. This line last night was at 2.5 in favor of Brooklyn. I'm in favor of Orlando, and the total was at 225.5. So we've seen under money come in, which makes sense. And we've seen Orlando, the line for Orlando get a lot smaller. Now just laying 1.5. Looks like it is moving back to 2. Right before I started the show, I saw all 1.5 though. So injury report in this one, I do know that Nick Claxton will be available. Coach Jordy Fernandez said that yesterday. I think Brooklyn has their full squad. Orlando, of course, playing on the second leg of a back-to-back. They did announce last night that Jalen Suggs won't be there. And that's what makes this game difficult, because without Suggs, I don't want Orlando. I don't want Orlando. I know it's not necessarily the worst spot to fade them. For whatever reason, this has been their role. When they lose a game, they typically win the next one. However, this is second leg of back-to-back. It's 3rd and 4. It's 4th and 6. Brooklyn has the rest advantage. They have revenge. They're coming off a confidence, boosting win against the Denver Nuggets in their last game. Second straight home game with no travel. It sets up really, really well for Brooklyn. I even wrote in my notes yesterday, home dogs. I looked into this. Home dogs with more than 1 day's rest, getting a possession or less, playing against an opponent that's unrested and playing 4th and 6th nights. They're 60% ATS, 73% ATS post-COVID. And 10-2 to the under in that same sample size post-COVID as well. So, the numbers just say, you take Brooklyn in this spot. When I woke up this morning, I was doing a little bit more research on this game, and I want to share a couple of trends that I found with you guys that are specific to the Magic this season. So the first one is the Magic, after a loss this season, are 12-4 straight up, 9-7 against the number. They've won 5 straight games in this spot. They've covered 3 of the 5. The Magic this season coming off a loss when they're unrested, 4-1 straight up, 4-1 against the spread, 4-1 to the under as well. So for some reason, it's like they play better defense. They cover the number. Most of these games they were laying points. Matter of fact, every game they were laying points except one against the Nuggets, and they won that game outright as well. So off a loss, unrested, they've done well. Off a loss, unrested, and on the road, they're 2-0 straight up, 2-0 against the spread. They went into Charlotte, beat them. They went into Toronto, into Portland, and beat them as well. So 2-0 straight up and against the number, playing unrested on the road, off a loss. Then I look at Brooklyn. Brooklyn with the rest advantage, 2-5 straight up, 3-4 against the spread. Brooklyn with the rest advantage at home, 1-4 straight up, 1-4 against the spread. Brooklyn, when they're playing against a team that is unrested, 1-2 straight up, 1-2 against the spread. The reason why I bring this up is because I remember being on Brooklyn against Golden State, and it was a perfect spot, right? Golden State had just lost their last game, very similar to Orlando in this spot, just lost their last game to Toronto, coming off an overtime game. Golden State goes in there and, beats Brooklyn by 10, I think it was, laying 6.5 on the road. Second leg of back-to-back, very, very similar spot. So what I'm saying is that the Nets don't win the games that they're supposed to, in my opinion. That kind of gave me a little hang up. Orlando win the games that they're not supposed to. So I'm all for this game, but I just thought that was interesting. I hope that you guys find that valuable in your handicap. I also consider Anthony Black under his points. I think it's 17.5. We know that the Nets are a team that, first of all, without Jalen Suggs there, Anthony Black's going to be the primary ball handler. But the Nets do a really good job against primary ball handlers. I am expecting this game to be played a little bit slower in pace. The way Orlando's playing on defense on the road right now, I kind of want to bet the Nets team total over. But Anthony Black under his points prop, I think makes the most sense from a player prop perspective based on what I had looked at in my numbers. So that's my thought process on this game. I just wanted to this was the most interesting game that I handicapped yesterday. Let's see what you guys are thinking here, and we'll keep moving. Locks his MPJ over all his props. Okay. With the Wizards coming off a huge upset over the Magic and Sewers getting rolled by Denver, but the Sixers getting rolled by Denver. High school team, Sixers roll the Wizards, in my opinion. We'll see. 12.5 is a lot, though, but I can see it. What's up, J-Man? Appreciate you for tapping in as always. Has just moved on. MPJ over his 32.5 points plus rebounds. Think it's going to get dumped. Think it's going to get bumped. Okay. Got to take Brooklyn. Fahrenheit says 62 people watching, only 22 likes. Come on, guys. What's up, Fahrenheit? I appreciate you for tapping in. J-Man says he likes CJ McCollum under 19.5 points. 5-1 to the under on the second leg of back-to-backs. I actually bet CJ under. I forgot who it was against. It was the second leg of back-to-backs, though, so that makes a lot of sense for J-Man. I like this one a lot. I'm going to actually write this down. Appreciate you, my guys. I appreciate everybody in the comment section. Y'all see my desk, man. I got stickies everywhere. I be writing down so much stuff. CJ McCollum under. I need to look into the defensive matchup, but this makes a ton of sense to me. Under points and assists. He might not even play because I do think that they're going to ship CJ McCollum before the trade deadline. One of the reasons why I waited to bet Philly until late last night. What's up, dude? Appreciate you for tapping in. B-Hop says, Chris, I like the Nets here. Makes a ton of sense. I can understand it. Double says, do Brooklyn have someone to guard Banchero? Not really. They probably put Noah Clowney on him, I'm guessing. But I don't know. Sometimes, Paolo can guard himself. They call him PB and no J sometimes, is what I'm hearing. Let's see. Like the Nets here too. It makes a lot of sense. Ski says Magic without Franz so trash. They are. And I think the Brooklyn money is necessary, but I wouldn't see I don't think a lot of people just run into the window to bet Orlando, and that line is moving back to 2.5. So we shall see, man. Vargas says Brooklyn on the money line. They have been playing a much better basketball. I don't want Orlando on the road. Like I said, if you go back and look, what I just said, Brooklyn plus the point just kind of scares me, man. It scares me a little bit, but I understand it. All right, next game up. Last game I'm going to go through really quickly is the Clippers and the Nets. So line in this one is, I think it's at 5.5 now. Yeah, 5.5. There are a couple fives out there, and the total, 223.5, really hasn't moved a ton. 224.5 out there. So between those three numbers, on the Clippers side of things, James Harden is listed as questionable. Yeah, James Harden is listed as questionable. On the Knicks side of things, still no Josh Hart. So like, I'm looking at the game last night, and there's one like specific angle that I really like. I really like the Knicks early in this spot. So you got a Clippers team that's playing their first road game after 5 straight home games. They, are on this crazy win streak. They need pretty much every single game that they can get. Got smoked against Boston, of course, but they got a really nice, not just a bounce back win, but a nice bounce back divisional win against the Golden State Warriors in that last game. Now they go on the road to play the Knicks. The Knicks are coming off a brutal 30-point beatdown to Detroit 2 nights ago. Nice bounce back spot for them. However, for the Knicks, and one of the reasons I don't like them for the full game, it is 4th and 6. Like 4th and 6, I don't really want the Knicks without Josh Hart 4th and 6. But I do think that we see them bounce back early in this game. The Knicks are actually 5-0 against the spread as a favorite when they're coming off a loss of 20 points or more. Just 2-8 against the spread in their last 10 games, though. So Knicks, just kind of all over the place. The injuries, like eventually this stuff kind of sets in throughout the season. I talked about it yesterday. Second worst 3-point defense in the NBA over the last, I think it was 10 games as well, 5 games, 10 games. But the Knicks first quarter makes a ton of sense, man. Coming off their worst loss to the season, Clippers first road game after 5 straight home games. Knicks back at home where the defense has been a little bit better. You think you put OG on Kawhi, and we'll see if James Harden play. He didn't play in that last game. You got Mitchell Robinson to be able to slow down, Zubac. I think we see a really good effort from the Knicks early. I like the Knicks early, like first quarter, first half. I haven't bet it yet, but that's where I want to be in this game. Knicks first quarter, Knicks first half. Still want to go through the player props as well. It might be something that I like a little bit more, but I didn't get a chance to go through all the player props yet. The first quarter number for the Knicks is probably like what, 2? 1.5? Yeah, 1.5 on FanDuel right now, minus 115. I think that's the way I like this game. I think that's the way I like this one. Let's see what you guys are thinking here. What's up, Dave? Appreciate you for tapping in. Ski says, Knicks, how can we trust them to cover if they can't get stops? Back at home, I think they'll get some stops in this game, Ski. I also don't think, I think this game has a ton of potential to go under. Like, the Knicks at their core, if we think that the Clippers are going to be able to play defense, especially without James Harden, then this game definitely goes under. The Knicks are not even a fast-paced team. The Clippers are, the second slowest-paced team in the NBA. Clippers just went under against the Golden State Warriors as well, and the Knicks do play a lot better defense at home. So I know that they're missing Josh Hart, but I think the Detroit loss probably woke them up a little bit. They've lost a couple games in a row, right? They lost to Philly before that. So yeah, I think Knicks first quarter makes the most sense here before the tired legs set in with the 4th and 6th nights. Let's see. Kawhi props over. Hoop and Harden don't play if he doesn't play, Locke says. That's a fact, Tommy. Everybody will be on the Nets today, and I think I'm gonna stay off. Just give me the Magic in a game they shouldn't win. I don't want the Magic either, though. That's why I'm gonna stay off. Bigger says he'll take McBride over his 10.5 points. Hit that line every game without Hart so far. Okay. Clippers team total over for Tommy. Thinks they get to 110. Taylor says Brunson over his 28.5. He gets 46% of his points via pull-up. 76ers ranked 28th versus the pull-up. They don't play the Sixers, though. Brunson versus teams that rank 21st or worse versus the pull-up. He's over in 8 of 10 games. 8 of 11 games, averaging 30. And he didn't play the fourth quarter. I think that's important to mention as well. The starters didn't play the fourth quarter because who was it? I can't think of his name, but I can see his face. They just couldn't stop. They couldn't stop anybody on Detroit from making a 3-pointer, so they didn't have to play the fourth quarter because they gave up so many points in that third quarter. Double says Cal likes the Clippers plus 5.5. Makes sense. I think it's the one I would go Knicks early. Somebody got hit some threes. They both bleed them. What's interesting about the Clippers is their 3-point defense has actually been Clippers 3-point defense has actually been really good. outside of the Boston game, I mean, Boston literally just couldn't miss from the 3-point line. Clippers actually have been guarding the 3-point line. It's one of the reasons I like the Clippers in that game. And I bet the Clippers when they played against the Warriors. I mean, when they played against the Boston Celtics. It was the last game of a road trip for the Celtics. The Clippers on the season allowed teams to shoot the 5th highest percentage from the 3-point line, but last 5 games they're actually top 8 in both all 3-point frequency and 3-point accuracy. So they're running teams off the 3-point line as of late. So yeah, I think we can see a little bit different, a little bit different here. We shall see how it goes though. Those are the 4 games I wanted to kind of highlight. If you guys got questions about other ones, put them in the chat real quick, and we'll see how many we can get through. And while you guys are doing that, I'll just talk about a few other games. I don't really have a lot of interest in Chicago, Detroit. Chicago coming off a game where they got absolutely, I think they lost by 14 to Boston. They didn't cover in that game. Now they have Buzelis listed as questionable. Kobe White is questionable. Again, Josh Giddey continues to be out. Detroit opened 9.5. I think that their line has moved. Detroit has taken some money. Detroit, I mean, they were in 2 competitive games, but this could be the flat spot for Detroit. I don't think a lot of people are going to think about it like that. But back-to-back wins against the 2 best teams in the Eastern Conference. They beat the Knicks. They beat the Cavs. Those are supposed to be the competitors for them. And now it's 3rd and 4. I know they didn't have to travel, but it is 3rd and 4. You got a Chicago team that you could potentially overlook in this spot. I think 10.5 is too many points, but I'm not taking the points with Chicago, especially without Buzelis and Kobe White being rolled in. So those are my quick thoughts on that game. TC says, any thoughts on the side for the Rockets? One thing I'm noticing about the Rockets, well, let's talk about the game. So Sengun is out, right? We know that Sengun won't play. He's going to miss extended period of time. Not too long, but he won't be available in this game. The Portland Trailblazers have been playing pretty good lately. The way I kind of think about Portland, though, and this is one of the reasons I like the over against the Utah Jazz, when they're a home dog, you want to take the under most of the time. They typically play better defense. When they're a home favorite, you typically want to take you want to take the over. I think they're 5-1 to the over as a home favorite. They just don't play defense because they know they can score against teams like Utah. Now you got Houston coming in here. I'm not the biggest believer in Houston's offense, especially without Sengun. They turn the ball over a lot. For Portland, it is 4th and 6. They do have double-digit in-season revenge as well. Like, I kind of think I think Portland can cover this number if I'm betting the game. I just like what they're doing. I think Klingon is going to pull Steven Adams away from the rim. I'm watching Klingon knock down 3-pointers recently, like consistently knock down threes. I like that. I like that angle. Denny's been playing absolutely out of his mind. He does get a pretty tough matchup against the men. Houston coming off the big win against the Phoenix Suns where Kevin Durant hit that game-winning 3-pointer from the right corner. Pretty emotional win there. I just don't like Houston's offense when it really boils down to it. Like, they don't get a lot of wins by margin recently. One of the reasons I didn't want to lay points with them, even though, the Suns won the second leg of a back-to-back in that last game. So I think I'd be looking, the bigger the line gets, the more I kind of like Portland in this spot. They're scrappy at home as a dog. And I know it's 4th and 6, but I don't really want to lay too many points with Houston as they kind of experiment a little bit without Sengun being a part of that lineup. They just don't shoot the ball as consistently enough for me to want to lay this many points with them on the road. They're a much better team, though. That's my thought process. Let's see. Thoughts on OKC Jazz? Just Jazz today? No, I'm not. That's a game I definitely don't have a strong opinion on. OKC opened to 17-point favorites. They're up to like 18-point favorites. Like, I could care less about that game. Immediately, I thought over. The total got steamed up, though. 238.5 is all the way up to 241.5, 242.5 on FanDuel. Isaiah Hartenstein is out. I think looking at Utah, they'll have everybody. They're coming off a game where they just got blown out to this Portland team that we just talked about. Ace Bailey listed as questionable. Kevin Love is out. Alex Caruso is out. OKC just kind of like, until they can prove that, I know they can, but they're just going through a really rough slump right now. It happens. Like, you're going to run into, a week period or a 2-week period where you're just not playing your brand of basketball. And it's no better team to get right against than this Utah Jazz team. I tell you that. If Portland scored 140 or whatever they scored, imagine what OKC can do, especially coming off back-to-back losses. They lost Sunday in Phoenix as well. So OKC team total. I think I did the math last night. It would have been something crazy. I didn't look at it, but I was looking at the math. Like, yeah, I'm not gonna bet on them to score 130, but it would make sense for them to get to 130. Let's see what the total is. Yeah, it's 131.5. Like, I'm not betting on that game. I want nothing to do with that game live. Maybe something live, but yeah, I'm not messing with that. Appreciate you, Jay Hank. Let's see. Do the Bucks cover the 3 well? Because Curry 3s at 5.5. That's a game that I got to do more work on. Though I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I didn't do a lot of work on that game. I think Draymond listed as questionable. That's something I want to see. What happens with. Milwaukee was a team that I said I didn't trust. They do go in and get a win against Sacramento, which everybody's doing right now. They do have the rest advantage. Golden State is playing 4th and 6, coming off that loss to the Clippers. And Golden State, remember, they were laying points in Memphis in Milwaukee earlier this season without Giannis. They were laying double digits and lost that game by double digits. So I'm not sure if they remember that or not. But Giannis, I think Giannis going to do whatever he want to do in that game. Golden State's a team that runs you off the 3-point line. So looking at, like a AJ Green under his 3-point prop, I think will be something. Golden State should be pretty motivated and locked in. I'm not laying points with Golden State right now, though. I keep saying that. Milwaukee needs every single win that they can get. Not that Golden State don't, but Milwaukee needs every single win that they can get right now at 16-20. The Warriors not much better at 19-18, though. So it's my quick thought process there. J-Man says Durant over his rebounds and assists for me. Over 4.5. No Sengun. That makes sense. I can understand that. Double says you like Denny Abdi over his assists and rebounds? No, not assists against Houston. Houston allows, I think, the second fewest assists behind Detroit. So I'm not looking at Denny in that spot. Not at all. Denny's been hooping. He's probably gonna make the All-Star team. I saw by fans he got like top 6 votes or something. But I'm not for my money. I'm not taking Denny even at home. Not against Houston. I expect Houston to play a little defense here in this spot. Colin Gillespie under his 4.5 assists with Allen. Had 5 at half last game and had 4. Had 5 at the half last game. Had 4. Okay. Clinging double for Locke. Shaden Sharp 20 points. Interesting to see who Sharp draws in this matchup. Like, do you put Amin Thompson on Denny, or do you put him on Sharp? And like this Tari, like who does Tari Eason guard? Probably put KD on. I'm not sure. I'm not sure what that matchup is going to be like. That's going to be interesting. I don't see Bobby Portis slowing down. I think his points should be live. Yeah, he gets a pretty good matchup. Like I said, the Warriors like to funnel stuff to the 3-point line. They like to funnel stuff to the paint. They don't give up a lot of threes. Bobby Portis should be able to get busy in that matchup. All right. I don't have a lot today, man. Like I said, there's still a lot I got to go through on the card. If you are interested in, getting the plays when I make them, subscribe to the channel and join as a member. Couple things I'm gonna look a little bit deeper into though. We talk a little bit about him here. I like the quickly over his 3-point prop look that we talked about. Let me just go back through my notes real quick. So Toronto, Charlotte, I'm probably just gonna stay away from that game from a side and total perspective. Chicago, Detroit, kind of lean Chicago plus the points. But I want Buzelis and Kobe White to be in, of course. Detroit has been hooping, but I think this could be a little bit of a letdown spot. The Washington and Philly under the 235.5. I gave you guys the explanation behind that. I do like the CJ McCollum under his points, maybe points and assists look as well. We'll see what that looks like. New York first quarter, minus the 1.5 against the visiting Los Angeles Clippers. I also think that under is live as well. I kind of talked a little bit about it. I'll do a little bit more research on it. But under, I think the best total you can get is 224.5 there. Orlando, Brooklyn, that's a game I think I'm going to stay away from. Seems too easy to take Brooklyn, but it makes a lot of sense. Denver, Boston is a game that I didn't talk about, but I want to say this real quick. I gave you guys this number when Denver was first playing without Jokic. It's been, I think, 3 or 4 games now. And they're actually 8-1 as road dogs without Jokic since the start of the 23 season. Crazy to think. Denver on the road without Jokic, 8-1 against the number, coming off of, probably the biggest win of the season with no starters. And they'll probably get those guys back. But the reason I didn't touch on the game is because Christian Braun, Aaron Gordon, and Jamal Murray are all listed as questionable. I'm not sure who's going to play, who's not. It is the last game of a 7-game road trip. That's not a good spot at all. But again, like it is 3rd and 4th, 4th and 6th, but you can't really take all that into, when you take all of it into consideration, you got to also remember that they didn't play any of their starters in that last game. So I think I'll be off of that. Boston's second game back home. They've been, pretty good recently, 8-2 against the number. I think somebody will hit some threes for Denver. 2 or 3 threes against Boston, who plays a lot of drop coverage with Kata out there. We just cashed Vucevic over his 1.5 threes in that last game. I think that, I gave you guys a lot. I gave you guys a whole lot, man. Don't know what's happening with Bron. So Spurs were 6 last night. I was this close to playing Spurs last night. I thought it made a lot of sense just because the Lakers won and beat New Orleans last night. Bron hasn't played on the second leg of a back-to-back. He said that he's going to be TBD every second leg of back-to-back games. San Antonio lost to Memphis last night, so it should be a good motivational spot. It's second leg of back-to-back, 3rd and 4th, 4th and 6th for the Lakers with travel. San Antonio, second leg of back-to-back, 3rd and 4th, 4th and 6th. But we'll see what happens with Wemby. Like, it was too many things that was conflicting for me. He did score 30 points, I think, maybe even more than 30 last night. He had 30 when I checked, but I saw Spencer hit that game winner, and them lose the game. So I was like, yeah, San Antonio's probably looking ahead to the Lakers, but didn't play that one. That's what I got for you guys, man. That's what I got. I haven't made a single bet today. I will find some things to play, but I've been like doing a good job, like taking it slow, not rushing things. And I think I'm gonna just continue to keep doing that. Hopefully we can keep, finding success doing that. Resources that I use to handicap the games are all listed in the description. Definitely check them out if you guys are interested. JaXon, Outlier, Moneyballer, Odds Jam. There's also a link in the description if you guys want to check out Novig. Any of those type of books where you're playing peer-to-peer, like just don't have as many have as much juice on the lines, are definitely something that you guys want to kind of look into and have an account for. So there's a link in the description if you guys are interested in checking out any of those. Hit the like button for me on the way out, man. Appreciate everybody for tapping in as always. Hopefully we can stay hot, and I'll catch you guys tomorrow, man. I'm out.